A nationwide crackdown on telephone fraud. Federal agents start rounding up suspects who allegedly ripped off the elderly over the phone. Who's answering the phone at your healthcare company? An Eye on America investigation. And millions of miles from Earth tonight, Galileo's dramatic close encounter with the planet Jupiter.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. The FBI today reached out and touched hundreds of alleged telephone scam artists accused of ripping off billions of dollars from this nation's elderly. Arrest warrants went out for more than 400 telemarketers in 15 states. They were stung by elderly people working with law enforcement. Jim Stewart has the story and the telephone tapes.
It was the latest crackdown on one of the fastest growing scams in the country. Telemarketing con artists who prey on the elderly. The Justice Department today estimated losses are now approaching $40 billion annually among older Americans.
What they have worked 40 or 50 years to accumulate can be stolen from them in a mere 1 or 2 years.
With the help of dozens of elderly victims, FBI agents tape recorded some of the more recent scams. In this one, a man in Las Vegas tries to bully a woman in Denver into paying $500 in order to win a larger prize.
Is $500, knowing that you have $50,000 as a result, going to be any problem for you?
Yes, because I don't have $500.
I need some cooperation from you. And if I don't get it, you're hurting yourself. This is enough money for you to set up anybody that you care about and go to your grave knowing that you went and did the right thing. Do you want your winnings?
Of course I want the winnings, but
So now you're going to start crying again and going off on me, right?
There's nothing I can do.
I'm afraid it's the same old scam.
Katie Sloan studies the telemarketing problem for the American Association of Retired Persons.
In many cases, grown up in an era in which they were taught to be polite, and they're very reluctant to hang up the telephone, even when they feel pressure.
A courtesy that has landed some elderly victims on a sucker list, generating as many as 5 calls a day from con artists. And it's a problem showing little improvement. Despite repeated FBI warnings about being careful of gift givers over the phone, 2/3 of elderly Americans say they still can't distinguish between legitimate telemarketers and the frauds. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
One of the longest white-knuckle flights ever is ending tonight, and the crew never left the ground. The Galileo spacecraft and a separate little remote robot were due to arrive for a magical mystery tour of Jupiter. Their mission, to explore our solar system's most massive planet, a swirling ball of gas and its many moons. If all goes well, Galileo would greatly expand our knowledge of Jupiter's ancient chemical soup, the forces generating the Great Red Spot, a monster hurricane 3 times bigger than Earth. And then there are Jupiter's moons, Io, for example, with active belching volcanoes. And perhaps most tantalizing, Europa, whose icy exterior may be hiding a vast water world. And where there's ocean, there may be life. Bill Whitaker has late word from Galileo Mission Control at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena.
Dan, NASA calls Galileo the crown jewel of the space program, having a rendezvous with the king of planets. After 6 years of travel across 2.3 billion miles of space, scientists learned today that their $1.4 billion project is paying off. Now, these scientists, many of whom have worked on this project for almost 20 years, are ecstatic because they just heard a signal from Galileo, a signal that confirms that their dreams of touching the planet Jupiter are coming true.
All right.
All right, we got it.
Jupiter indication, telemetry lock on the coast.
The signal meant that the small probe released earlier by Galileo is surviving the perilous plunge into Jupiter's atmosphere, scorching 28,000-degree friction sucked in by tremendous gravity.
And as you approach Jupiter, it starts to pull on you. And by the time you get there, it has speeded you up so you're going 100,000 miles an hour.
It basically becomes an artificial shooting star in the atmosphere of Jupiter.
Scientists think the probe is passing through vapor and lightning 1,000 times stronger than Earth's, its sensors sniffing for the first time a strange world of gases like those that may have formed the early solar system. Before melting, the probe should send data to Galileo for later relay to Earth.
We want to know how many clouds there are, how much water there is there, how thick the water clouds are. Is there rain? We may find that out.
And liftoff of it.
After Galileo was released from the shuttle Atlantis 6 years ago, its main antenna and tape recorder jammed. But NASA still expects an information bonanza from the giant planet of the solar system, 1,400 times the size of Earth. Next, the mothership goes into perpetual orbit around Jupiter to send back information on the planet and its wondrous moons of fire and ice for at least the next 2 years. Now that can only happen after an even hairier moment later on today. That's when Galileo's rockets must execute a precise burn. If they miss, the spacecraft could skip off into space and circle aimlessly around the solar system. Dan?
Bill Whitaker in Pasadena, California. Back on Earth, an ethics cloud and the silver lining Newt Gingrich sees in it. That story is next. Also tonight, anti-American demonstrations in the streets of Sarajevo. Also a mill town under siege by lawyers.
Okay, let's meet at Red Lobster in an hour.
It's Red Lobster's ultimate feast. All your favorites on one plate. Rock lobster, roasted shrimp, fried shrimp, and snow crab. Hurry, the ultimate feast ends soon. Happy holidays from Red Lobster.
How much closer are our precision heads? Our innovative lift-in cup system? How much better is the latest Norelco? In a word, we've never brought you closer. The Norelco Razor, our closest shave ever.
Anybody can service automobiles, but you're going to be able to take care of the customer. You describe the legend in your...
Over bumps, or do you...
Definitely over a bump, I think.
They come in to see me because they need something to be fixed. They want me to take care of them. Everybody has different problems. Everybody has different needs. See the way I was going with this? Move it back. The quality care standards. It just opens up that communication, lets people know that we care.
Quality care people, quality care standards at your Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealer.
More tonight on the still developing Newt Gingrich politics and ethics story that CBS News chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer broke exclusively on this broadcast last night. Today, House Speaker Gingrich insisted the House Ethics Committee had all but cleared him as he sees it, even though the committee decided to appoint a special counsel, what some call a special prosecutor, to investigate at least one accusation. Bob Schieffer has tonight's follow-up.
As Gingrich tried to spin it, the report was good news, not bad, because most of the charges were dismissed.
Look, I think that it is a tremendous thing when 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans can agree to get rid of 5 of the charges. And I think that's enormous progress.
The Speaker's allies went even further, saying the report all but vindicated a man who's been under constant partisan fire.
Understand now, for 13 months, there's been an orchestrated campaign to demonize the Speaker.
Democrats weren't buying, of course.
I've heard of putting lipsticks on pigs, but they're really going crazy this morning.
Congressman Newt Gingrich, an adjunct professor at Reinhardt College, will continue his course.
The investigation will focus on whether Gingrich's televised college lectures violated tax laws since they were funded with tax-free contributions. What Gingrich's defenders glossed over today was how critical the committee was, even in areas it chose not to investigate further. For example, on the $4.5 million book publishing deal Gingrich first struck and then scrapped with tycoon Rupert Murdoch, the committee said Gingrich was in technical compliance of House rules, but added, at a minimum, this creates the impression of exploiting one's office for personal gain, and suggested changing the rules to prevent recurrences. Promising no let-up, Democrats want an investigation now of possible election law violations during Gingrich's 1990 House race.
Mr. Gingrich, as I said in my statement, illegally used $250,000 on his campaign.
However the investigation comes out, Democrats see this as a political windfall, and the Ethics Committee's harsh criticism of Gingrich is sure to fuel a lot of Democratic campaign commercials over the next year. Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the Capitol.
On another front, the deeply divisive negotiations over federal budget priorities are underway again, only now with a whole new set of figures to fight about. The ones President Clinton officially presented today in his version of a balanced budget plan. Rita Braver has the latest.
The president today claimed that his new proposal fulfills the goals he and Congress set down when they put the government back to work last month.
It protects Medicare, Medicaid, education, and the environment. It doesn't raise taxes on working families and meets the conditions that were set out in the resolution to which we all agreed, and I hope it will be taken as a gesture in good faith.
Mr. Clinton's announcement that he'd come up with roughly $150 billion extra dollars in spending reductions over his previous budget came as evangelical Christians demonstrated, urging Congress not to cut services for the poor. But Republicans immediately charged that the White House is still not slashing enough and is using overly optimistic economic forecasts. There were brief negotiations today, but the two sides are still very far apart and another government shutdown looms.
This is a tremendous disappointment, and frankly, they got to come back to the table again, and they better do it quickly because we are running out of time. The deadline is fast approaching. They have missed the mark by $400 billion.
Each side is still claiming that it has the best interests of Americans at heart. And to make points with workers, the White House today, for the very first time, said that the balanced budget deal should also include an increase in the minimum wage of 90 cents an hour, Dan.
Rita Braver at the White House. On Wall Street today, after a string of record highs, investors took some profits.
Let's see what's going on next door. Ooh, cats. Ooh, they get the satin pillow, we get the old shoe. When I gotta go, I get shown the back door like some animal. Mommy's little hairball gets the private box with the scoop away litter. Scoop away so state-of-the-art it clumps where she wets. They scoop away the clump and bam, Pookie's box is fresh and clean. Me, I'm sharing a rusty hydrant with every mutt in the cul-de-sac. Aww.
Scoop away, the litter that's day one clean every day.
These vegetables are about to be perfectly steamed, like food has never been steamed before, in the Black & Decker Handy Steamer. Because deliciously steamed food requires perfect timing.
As you know, Kellogg's is the raisin brand that tastes so good, people forget it's good for them.
I didn't forget. Forget what? That it tastes good.
No, people forget Kellogg's Raisin Bran is good for you.
How could they forget? With all these raisins, of course they taste good.
No, good for you, for you.
Wouldn't it be great if it was also good for you? Huh?
Save up to $7 on the Star Wars trilogy from Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Star Wars, the original version on video, one last time.
To fight plaque, hold your brush at a 45-degree angle. Use strokes half a tooth wide.
Why brush the hard way?
Gentle.
The Norelco Dentaflex is tough on plaque, gentle on gums. The new Norelco Dentaflex.
Mission Bosnia. American troops in Germany are loading up and moving out.
Meet me down by the railroad tracks.
They got their pep talk from the president, but how do they really feel about what lies ahead? Dan Rather has their story as he reports from Germany. Plus, Old Blue Eyes celebrates his 80th, a birthday tribute to Frank Sinatra, tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
184 members of the House of Representatives, most of them Republican, fired off a letter to President Clinton today urging him not to send U.S. ground troops to Bosnia. The House is expected to vote sometime this month on a resolution of support for the Bosnian mission. Opponents of the mission say U.S. troops are walking into a minefield, both literally and figuratively, as they try to step between the ethnic foes. Correspondent Bob Simon has the latest from the battlefields of Bosnia.
The Serbs in Sarajevo were shouting "Yankee, go home" before the Yankees even get here. These are the people who fear that the reunification of Bosnia's capital will get them kicked out of the suburbs they've occupied for 3.5 years. They tried to burn the American flag today, but it was too wet, so they stomped on it instead. At the Tuzla Air Base, an American Air Force colonel brought in a 12-man team with a very specific mission.
It's very simple. We're just screwing in new light bulbs.
That's what the runway needs before the expected 20 to 30 flights a day can start landing. And how many Bosnian employees does it take to screw in a light bulb? 2, apparently, as long as the International Press Corps is there to cheer them on. In the border town of Sansky Mosk, it was deathly cold today, and so was the cargo in the trucks. A body exchange was underway here in the last battleground of the war. The Bosnian army handed over 55 Serb bodies. The Serbs delivered 8 dead Muslims, a ratio indicative of how the last battle was going. Technically, the ceasefire is holding. There's no killing right now, but the Dayton Agreement is being violated by all parties. Croats, Muslims, and Serbs are scorching the earth of areas they'll have to leave. And these last few days, some 60 Muslim families were evicted from Serb-held territory. It's a last round of ethnic cleansing, a winter cleaning. By the time spring comes around, NATO will be in charge. Bob Simon, CBS News, Tuzla.
The Prime Minister of France appointed a special mediator tonight trying to cool off a violent confrontation with striking public employees. French airline workers joined in the protest today, blocking traffic on the ground and in the air. The workers have been on strike for 2 weeks, campaigning against the government plan to cut social spending and balance the budget. They're calling for more unions to join them next week.
Just how tempting is the irresistible taste of Kellogg's Honey Roasted Pecan Temptations?
Hi.
Hi.
I seem to lock myself out of my apartment.
Don't catch a chill.
Kellogg's Temptation Cereal. Yeah, it really is that tempting.
If you've been drinking Ensure,
There's a little something you should know. Sustacal has more protein, less fat, and about twice as much calcium. No, Sustacal can't add years to your life, but it might help add life to your years.
There are many prescription pain medicines, and a doctor can prescribe any of them. Yet 82% of doctors surveyed have prescribed Arutis. And now, for the first time, it's available in a non-prescription strength. New Arutis KT. It's so potent, just 25 milligrams is as effective as 400 milligrams of Motrin IV, 440 of Aleve, or 1,000 milligrams of extra-strength Tylenol. New Arutis KT, the potent medicine for pain.
You ready?
Yes.
Tell me what you smell.
I have no idea.
You're really stuffed.
Yes.
I have a nasal spray I want to give you. Now, what do you smell?
That's an orange.
You got it. Curious about the product?
Dristan.
Dristan 12-hour nasal spray.
Man, I can breathe.
Oh, well, I'm the kind of light for your holiday list. I'll help you in so many ways. I'd make the perfect gift, 'cause I'm the snake light from Black & Decker. I get around. I'm the snake light.
Who's watching the kids when you can't?
Your 3 kids just walked out with a perfect stranger.
A show every parent must see. 48 hours tonight.
In record time, just 97 days, the Food and Drug Administration today approved Saquivir, the first of a new generation of AIDS-fighting drugs. Wholesale price, almost $6,000 for a year's supply. When it comes to so-called managed healthcare plans, such as HMOs, a frequent customer complaint is HMOs are reluctant to approve expensive treatments. So how do HMOs decide on treatment, and who decides? Tonight, Wyatt Andrews with part 2 of his Eye on America investigation.
The purpose of the conversation was to make it as difficult as possible for a person to get a session with a psychologist.
This man we'll call Robert is about to describe the hurdles he faced dealing with his mental health HMO.
I'm bipolar. I'm being treated for manic depression.
Whenever Robert would call his managed care company, UBS, United Behavioral Systems of Rhode Island, he had trouble getting permission to see his psychologist.
You had to explain yourself sometimes to 2 different people before they would okay one visit.
Millions of Americans have switched to managed care, but for many in managed mental health care, the change has been startling. To begin with, you can't just call a therapist and make an appointment.
They'll add you as a new account?
You call an 800 number. You tell the person who answers the phone what's wrong, and then the HMO matches you with a therapist. The HMO also...
We've authorized a total of 4 visits.
...must approve in advance the number of times you can see that therapist. HMOs call this gatekeeping and defend it as the best way to screen out costly, unnecessary therapy. However,
I felt like my privacy had been violated.
Anyone had to tell a faceless 800 operator his psychological problems.
I tell things to my psychologist that I'm not going to prepare to tell you or a lot of other people. Who has access to those screens? Who reads them?
How about Mark Hudson, a former 800 operator for a different HMO in Massachusetts? Hudson is now a whistleblower in a lawsuit against his old employer.
I would determine who you were going to see. I would diagnose you.
And may I ask if you were trained for that?
No clinical training whatsoever.
In a sworn deposition, Hudson says the gatekeepers were pressured to deny patients more than 6 therapy visits, even though the HMO promised up to 20.
Every visit that's not authorized, you say, cha-ching, that's money you've made. Every visit you pay for is money you lost.
It seems to me to be evil not to provide the benefits that people are entitled to, especially if people are suffering.
In fact, Robert's HMO, UBS, was offering bonuses to its medical directors for limiting care. Don Williams of the Rhode Island Health Department discovered how it worked.
The incentive arrangement was that they would receive increased bonuses or increased compensation if they were successful in limiting treatment.
What do you think of that?
I think it's illegal.
United Behavioral, which is owned by the Minnesota HMO giant United Healthcare Corporation, refused to comment on camera. But by phone, one UBS official admitted the company does give monetary incentives across a broad range of performance goals, but denied that those are payments for undertreatment. Still, UBS agreed to change its incentive plan in Rhode Island.
There's good and bad managed care companies in this industry.
Keith Dixon runs a San Diego HMO, Vista Behavioral, and is a spokesman for the industry. He insists that not all HMOs lowball their patients.
Is this for family therapy?
And that well-run companies man the phones only with licensed clinicians.
If it's done well, what we're doing is we're doing the right thing for the patient.
But Dixon admits the good managed care companies find it tough to compete with the profiteers.
That's the danger, is that the lowball companies that really don't care about behavioral health care, but whose sole motivation is profit, are going to be the winners.
Do something else, make widgets, but don't on the pretext of providing care, discover a way to print money for yourself.
The HMO industry is working on treatment standards, but meanwhile, Americans are buying these plans unaware of the obstacles created for the country's most vulnerable patients. In Providence, Wyatt Andrews for Eye on America.
The St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis has received a very unusual gift. A mystery donor sent the hospital a winning $1 million game piece from McDonald's Monopoly contest. Ronald McDonald presented a check to the hospital today. Odds of finding the winning piece were 1 in more than 206 million. Odds of someone giving it away, heaven only knows.
When you have arthritis, like we do, what you want most is relief, and that's just what we get with Arthritis Foundation Pain Relievers.
I knew I could trust it when I saw the Arthritis Foundation seal on the package.
Now, there are 4 different medicines. Aspirin-free, ibuprofen, safety-coated aspirin, and nighttime. They're all terrific.
And part of the purchase price goes to research to find a cure.
What other medicine does that?
Arthritis Foundation Pain Relievers, for relief you can count on until we find a cure.
It's wonderful medicine.
It is.
Come on, guys.
Hi, Fran. How are you? Coffee and a jelly fill. Complete bran flakes. What's he stares like I can't make a change? What's with you? I look like this when I joined the force? Well, no. I eat junk all day. I come home, I say I'm going to work out. I never do. I gotta do something.
Thousands of people have started turning their lives around with 4 little words. Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes.
Hey, Fran. Can I make a switch here? I feel like I'm married to you.
Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. It's a start.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Nobody's got the power to please me.
The new Hoover Steam Vac Deluxe deep cleans high traffic areas better than ever. With exclusive 5-brush agitation, it washes, extracts, deep cleans, and it leaves carpets twice as dry as our leading power brush competitor.
Hoover, nobody does it like you.
I'm 62. Can I still help prevent osteoporosis?
It's never too late for Caltrate. Caltrate Plus has the extra calcium you need, plus 6 nutrients essential for healthy bones, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
It's a great time to be silver because you're over 50 and you haven't lost your edge.
Now there's a Centrum made just for you. Centrum Silver, for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
Now the story of a town in turmoil. It all began with a leak from a railroad car producing a cloud of toxic gas. After the leak came a flood of lawyers and lawsuits. Correspondent Scott Pelley reports tonight from the Louisiana town of Bogalusa.
For families in this part of Louisiana, that is the sound of a paycheck. The paper mill gave birth to Bogalusa, for nearly a century a stable one-company town, the Gaylord town, until one terrible day last October.
We're evacuating this area, young lady.
There was an accident. A poison cloud injured hundreds.
My daughter got hysterically upset. Mama, I don't want to die.
Today, the Jenkins family has headaches, trouble breathing. Now, like many, they are suing their town's own livelihood.
People don't want to bite the hand that feeds them.
And yet, in the days afterwards, the lawyers came in with a vengeance.
With a vengeance.
When the smoke cleared, Bogalusa became one giant legal clinic.
Our cause is right, and our cause is just.
Johnny Cochran and about 100 other lawyers hit town, filling the paper, prowling the streets.
Witnesses say lawyers were handing out cards in the hospital. One man told us he gave his name to a stranger at a gas station and later was surprised to find himself included in a suit. This is a hell of an opportunity for a lawyer.
Absolutely.
200 clients called after Leo Palazzo's ad.
Do you want to wear a gas mask for the rest of your life? Number one is there's the opportunity to make money. We're not kidding anybody when we say that. But there's also the opportunity to help people.
But many worry there are more clients than victims. Lawyers begged Frances Dunaway to sue. These are her pictures.
You are a prime candidate to file suit.
But I have no cough. I have no side effects. If someone is saying that they were injured and just want money for nothing, I think that's wrong.
Continuously to this day, they're still coming in saying my attorney said to come.
Many people at home are thinking, those lawyers smell money.
We're the policemen of these chemical plants.
The company insists it's safe and will stay, but many here worry the legal frenzy may threaten the future of the plant that built the town. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Bogalusa, Louisiana.
It was revealed today that one of America's all-time best and most respected journalists, James Reston, died last night at his home in Washington. Scotty Reston spent 50 years with the New York Times as a reporter, editor, and columnist. He covered the biggest stories of the century, won 2 Pulitzer Prizes, and hired and trained a host of distinguished journalists. James Reston, Scotty Reston, great teacher, great pro, great friend. At age 86, gone but not forgotten. And that's part of our world. Later on 48 Hours, the risks and the options for parents who place their children in someone else's care. 48 Hours, who's watching the kids? Tonight at 10, 9 Central. Tomorrow I'll be reporting from Germany, where U.S. troops are preparing for the Bosnia mission. And beginning this weekend, I'll be reporting from Bosnia. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. I'll see you again soon on 48 Hours.
CBS News. Have you seen your country today?
How about this? How about that?
Well, this goes with